I never expected one careless sentence to unravel a decade of self-control. It happened on a quiet Thursday night, the kind where the air feels too still, like it's holding a secret. My sister Lila had insisted that we finally have a family dinner, which in her language meant one thing: an audience for her bragging. We were seated at a fancy new restaurant, the kind with dim lighting and plates too small for their price. My parents were already showering her with compliments about her big promotion, her important meetings, her real job. Real job. Funny how fast I'd learn what that phrase really meant to her. The waiter had just filled our glasses when Lila leaned back in her chair, tilted her head, and aimed her smug smile directly at me. "So, Elisa," she said, exaggerating every syllable, "tell us again what it is you do. Admin work, right? Like paperwork?" She didn't even try to hide her laugh. My mother snickered behind her napkin. My father cleared his throat, but said nothing. He never interfered, not when it came to Lila. "Just admin," she repeated. "Must be nice having such a simple job." Simple. I don't know what hurt more, the assumption or the intention. They had no idea that the admin office they imagined was actually the executive operations hub of a multi-billion-dollar company. They had no idea that my desk job oversaw teams they couldn't imagine. And they definitely didn't know that the CEO, their mysterious, unreachable, never-seen owner, was me. But I stayed silent. And that was what made Lila bolder. She set down her wine glass and added, "Not everyone is cut out for the corporate world, I guess. Some people are just made for small tasks. Filing, scheduling, the easy stuff." Her tone wasn't teasing. It was a knife, one she had sharpened for years. And before I could respond, she twisted it. "You're lucky they even keep you around." My chest tightened, my jaw clenched. I felt 20 years of swallowed words press against my throat. My parents didn't defend me. They didn't even look at me. And that was when I understood. They didn't mock my job. They mocked me. The girl who left home early, who worked while studying, who built something from nothing. They never believed in her, in me. But life has its own sense of humor. And fate, well, fate has a flawless taste for irony. Because Lila, the same sister who belittled my career, was about to realize that the person she mocked, dismissed, and humiliated was the one who signed her paycheck. My journey to that restaurant table was anything but simple. At 19, while Lila partied on weekends, I worked 2 shifts and studied business analytics at night. No one in my family thought I'd succeed. They called me ordinary, quiet, unremarkable. Good. Quiet people build empires when no one's watching. It started with an internship at a small logistics firm. Within a year, I became their youngest operations supervisor. By 24, I had created a streamlined system that caught the attention of a massive multinational corporation, Brightgate Holdings. They hired me as a consultant. 2 years later, I was running entire divisions. By 30, the board had offered me equity because I had rebuilt half of their operational infrastructure. When the CEO retired unexpectedly, the board unanimously chose his successor. Me. Elisa Wright, CEO of Brightgate Holdings, the so-called admin girl. But my family never knew. They never asked. They never listened. To them, I was the quiet daughter, the one who didn't shine loudly enough for their taste, the one who didn't flaunt achievements. I kept my role private, not out of humility, but protection. The corporate world taught me something early. Power draws parasites. And my sister? She was exactly the kind of parasite I avoided. She saw the world as a ladder, one she climbed by stepping on others, including me. But the universe was writing a plot twist even she couldn't manipulate. Because 2 months before that family dinner, Brightgate acquired a mid-sized marketing agency, the agency Layla worked at. The agency whose staff didn't yet know who the new CEO was. So when she mocked my job, she had no idea she was insulting her boss's boss's boss. And she definitely didn't expect what came next. Layla kept talking, oblivious to the storm waiting on the horizon. "Honestly, Elisa," she said, swirling her wine, "it must be nice having such low responsibility. No stress, no pressure. Anyone can do admin work." I felt the waiter approaching with dessert trays behind me. Perfect. I smiled, finally lifting my eyes to meet hers. "Anyone, huh?" "Of course," she said breezily, flicking her hair. "It's not exactly leadership." My mother nodded. My father chuckled. That's when the waiter placed a crème brûlée in front of me, and I decided it was time. I picked up my spoon, tapped it lightly on the caramel crust, and said, "Layla, do you know who Brightgate Holdings acquired recently?" She raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, my agency. Our new CEO is apparently some ghost. No one has seen them yet." I smiled. "A ghost? Huh." She laughed. "Well, yeah. Whoever they are, they must be hiding behind a big title with zero personality." I set the spoon down very carefully. "Interesting," I said, "because you've known them for years." Silence fell over the table. Even the restaurant noise seemed to dim. "What do you mean?" she asked. I reached into my bag, pulled out a black folder, placed it in the center of the table. My mother leaned forward. "What is that?" I said, "Proof. Proof of what I've actually been doing all these years." Layla laughed nervously. "Oh, please. What is this? Your little portfolio?" "No," I said, sliding the folder toward her. "It's my company." She blinked. "Your what?" I folded my hands, voice steady. "I am the CEO of Brightgate Holdings." The color drained from her face. My father stiffened. My mother's jaw unhinged. "You're lying," she said, trying to laugh it off. I didn't blink. "Check the signature on the last page." Her fingers trembled as she opened the folder. When she reached the final document, a merger approval stamped with my signature, her breath hitched. She looked up at me, but no words formed. "You mocked my job tonight," I said softly. "But you didn't just mock me. You mocked your CEO." The room felt electrified, like a storm had just ripped open the sky. But the real lightning strike, it was still on the way. Layla shoved the folder back toward me like it was burning her fingers. "Why didn't you tell us?" she hissed. I tilted my head. "Why would I? None of you ever cared when I tried." My mother glared at me, "As if we needed to know your secrets." "Mom," I said quietly, "they weren't secrets. You just never listened." My father crossed his arms. "So now what? You want us to bow to you, beg for forgiveness?" I took a slow sip of water. "No, I wanted respect, but I've stopped expecting it." Layla clenched her jaw. "So you're my boss now. Is that what you wanted? To feel superior?" The desperation in her voice didn't escape me. "No," I said. "I didn't want to be your boss." I paused. "But I will hold you to the same professional standards as everyone else." Her face paled further. "What does that mean?" "It means," I said calmly, "your performance review is next week." My mother gasped. "You wouldn't dare!" I shrugged lightly. "Mom, it's not personal. It's business." Layla's eyes glistened. "You can't fire me!" "Mom, Dad, tell her. She can't." But I didn't let them speak. "You embarrassed me for years. Tonight wasn't the first time, but it will be the last." She slammed her hands on the table. "This is revenge." I raised an eyebrow. "Is it? Or is it accountability?" She opened her mouth, then froze. Because at that moment, the restaurant manager approached our table. "Miss Wright," he said politely, "your car is ready whenever you are." Miss Wright. Layla recognized the title instantly. She had heard subordinates whisper it at her office, and her horror deepened. I stood up. "Thank you," I told the manager. "I'll be out shortly." Then I turned back to my family. "My silence allowed you to underestimate me. That will never happen again." And I walked out. I didn't look back. When I reached my car, my phone buzzed. Once, twice, 10 times. Layla. Then my mother. Then my father. I didn't answer. Not because I was angry, though I was. Not because I wanted revenge, though I understood the temptation. I didn't answer because, for the first time, I didn't owe them anything. But the next morning, their panic escalated into chaos. I was reviewing proposals in my office when my assistant stepped in. "Miss Wright," she said, "your sister is here. She's been waiting in the lobby for 20 minutes. I didn't look up. "Tell her to schedule an appointment through HR." My assistant hesitated. She's crying," I said. "Still through HR." 5 minutes later, my phone lit up with a message. Layla. "Elisa, please. I didn't know. Please talk to me. Please don't let me lose my job. I swear I didn't mean what I said." Didn't mean what she said? Oh, she meant every syllable. For years. My response was simple. "Me. Your job depends on your work." "Not on me. Your review stands as scheduled." Her reply exploded instantly. "Elisa, please." I locked my phone, and for the first time in my life, I felt peace. Because revenge isn't always loud. It isn't always cruel. Sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply living the life they said you never could. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is finally choosing yourself.